Hi everyone, Freshy here with another Lost Ark video. Destroyer has been released and I am doing a continuation of my series called Ultimate PVE Guides for all the new unreleased classes. In this video I will be going over everything that is important when it comes to optimizing your Destroyer to the max. As with other guides, in the description you can find a written version of the guide that goes into more details and explains everything further. But before we start, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later if you don't enjoy the content anymore. Destroyer is a powerful DPS class that focuses on using blue skills to farm gravity cores, which then you spend by using purple skills to deal significant damage. Destroyer has highest stagger damage out of all classes and is focused on head attacks due to a lot of the skills having head attack modifiers. It suffers from the long casting animation that can be supplemented with additional swiftness and engravings. There is only one skill build that is being used the most, with few variations in tripods and skills depending on the boss you fight. Chaos Dungeon build, as with every other class, focuses on having as many AoE skills as possible for efficient and fast clear. On the screen, you can see the starter build that requires only 268 skill points and the skill progression depending on how many skill points you have available. The main idea of the build is generating 3 gravity cores by using any of the blue skills, then simply grouping up mobs and using any of the purple skills as they deal heavy AoE damage. When it comes to runes, combat stats and engravings, they are not as important in Chaos Dungeons, but they are shown later in the video as a part of the raid build, which means you can use that same setup for Chaos Dungeon build. Destroyers only have one viable class engraving, Rage Hammer. It increases crit rate and crit damage on purple skills depending on how many gravity cores you have, while Gravity Training engraving is focused mainly on your identity skill Hypergravity, where it increases gravity meter regeneration, basic attack damage and crit rate. 95% of the destroyers are playing Rage Hammer as it is more consistent and has much higher damage output. On the screen you can see the standard raid build for 268 skill points and a skill progression depending on how many skill points you have available. As already mentioned before in the video, you will use your blue skills to generate gravity cores, of which you can have maximum of 3. You gain 3 cores by using 2 blue abilities, then you simply use one of the purple skills. The standard skill rotation will be shown and explained later in the video. Your main goal is rotating between blue skills for gravity cores and purple skills to deal damage with increased crit rate and crit damage. Dreadnought is your main counter skill, while Full Swing and Earth Eater deal the highest stagger damage. If you are ever in trouble, simply activate Endure Pain, but you will mainly want to use it to set up your main damage dealing combo with Perfect Swing and Seismic Hammer. Preferred Awakening is Big Bang, as it is charging skill that benefits from supercharge engraving and deals more damage than the other one. Good mixture of combat stats is important due to Destroyer lacking attack speed and being stuck in charging animations for too long. Your main stat is Crit, where you will want to have anywhere between 1200 and 1400, while rest will be split between swiftness and specialization. You should aim for around 400 swiftness and specialization. On screen you can see the standard rune setup. Most important rune will be Galewind, as already mentioned before, Destroyer suffers from low attack speed and long charging animations. You will be using Galewind on Perfect Swing, Seismic Hammer, Earth Eater and Dreadnought, as this is your counter skill and you will want to have faster casting animation. On top of that, you will want to further increase your already high stagger by using Overwhelm runes on Full Swing and Jumping Smash, as these are the 2 high stagger skills. Finishing off with Quick Recharge rune on Heavy Crush due to its low cooldown, and Rage on Endure Pain for a chance to increase attack speed, which if triggered can further increase charging animation of the skills you use afterwards. Engraving setup is very important for Destroyer as it makes a very big difference in dealing damage. For class engraving you are using Rage Hammer for increased crit rate and crit damage on purple skills. Supercharge is the most important combat engraving as it will significantly increase charging animation of all of the charging skills while also increase their damage. Since Destroyer skills have a front attack modifier, adding Master Brawler will further increase damage of all skills combining that with Barricade, which increases damage dealt when shielded. This 4x3 engraving setup will grant you highest amount of damage while increasing charging animation. With Legion Weight patch, relic accessories became available, which means you can go for 5x3 engraving setup. Optional engravings to add for 5th and in the future 6th engraving slots are Grudge, Cursed Doll and Keen Blunt for obvious reasons. Since purple skills are your main damage dealing skills, you will only want attack gems on those 4 skills while also adding cooldown gems for all 4 of them. Other 3 gems are going to be cooldown gems for Dreadnought, Endure Pain and Jumping Smash. Prioritize getting both attack and cooldown gems on all 4 purple skills. Card setup is the same as with every other DPS class. Lost Wind Cliff Set, 12 Piece Awakening for extra 7% crit rate, while working with time towards Light of Salvation 30 Piece Awakening for increased holy damage and dark damage reduction. Tripod levels are important as they can significantly increase the tripod bonuses. You can only use 18 tripod levels and having correct alert settings will make them easier to obtain. On screen I will go over my tripod alert settings, so pause the video if you have to. Gear sets are also an important part of building Destroyer to full potential. For Argos set, you want to grab Preordained set for crit rate increase, while in the future you will want to swap into Earth's Entropy Relic set for crit rate, crit damage and front attack damage increase. First I will show you the rotation of utilizing every blue skill and purple skills without Endure Pain in correct order to maximize damage, then quickly explain how the rotation works. Open up with Heavy Crush and Jumping Smash. This will grant you 3 gravity cores, which you will then follow up with Seismic Hammer, as this is one of your high damage dealing skills. Low cooldown on Heavy Crush means you will use it again, combining it with Dreadnought, which will again grant 3 gravity cores, which you will want to spend them with the Perfect Swing, which is another high damage dealing skill. After that, you simply repeat the rotation of blue skills while using Earth Eater on the 3rd rotation and Full Swing on the 4th rotation. After that, Seismic Hammer and Perfect Swing will be off cooldown, which means you simply repeat the whole rotation again. It is very simple and easy to understand. Use blue skills to gain gravity cores, and then use Perfect Swing or Seismic Hammer for damage while rotating other skills as they come off the cooldown. Rotation with using Endure Pain is as follows. Heavy Crush plus Jumping Smash to gain 3 cores, then use Seismic Hammer for damage. Next you will use Endure Pain, which will grant you 3 cores instantly and push immunity so you don't get interrupted while casting your highest damage dealing skill, Perfect Swing. Rotation then continues the same as the previous one, where you simply rotate Heavy Crush with Dreadnought or Jumping Smash to generate 3 cores and use purple skills as they come off the cooldown. And this covers everything about PVE Destroyer. It's a simple and fairly easy class to play due to its tankiness and satisfying damage numbers. Only bad thing is that you will need to get used to slow and sluggish attacks and movement, but once you get used to those, you will be able to excel with the Destroyer. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to check out links in the description for more detailed written guides on Destroyer. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.